Does DC's The Flash get a gold medal, or does this long-awaited movie limp across the finish line? Here's what the first reviews have to say about The Flash.
Let's get nuts.
Few films can claim to have the kind of press as The Flash in the lead up to its release. After spending years in development hell, the movie finally started making progress with director Andy Muschietti at the helm and starring Ezra Miller as the Scarlet Speedster. However, Miller's well-documented instances of criminal behavior have tainted what was otherwise a highly anticipated movie. It's especially dire considering that the film was meant to set up the future of the DC live-action cinematic universe, which will soon have James Gunn and Peter Safran at the steering wheel. Warner Brothers and DC have downplayed Miller's involvement and instead focused on how this could be one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. Everyone from Tom Cruise to Stephen King got early screenings and raved about The Flash to anyone who would listen. Such reviews, combined with the return of Michael Keaton as Batman, certainly makes the film an enticing prospect, even to people who haven't necessarily been following DC's latest cinematic outings. But the question remains, how good is The Flash really? Does it live up to the hype, or was it all a marketing tactic? At first look, it seems as though The Flash certainly isn't without its merits. It's currently standing at a 72% positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes with 53 reviews as of the making of this video. Many critics praise Ezra Miller's performance as well as strong turns from actors new and old to DC's universe. Ben Affleck gets time to shine as Batman before Michael Keaton takes over those duties in an alternate timeline. But cameos aside, it seems as though critics have really taken to the emotional story beats that make up The Flash. The film draws heavily from the Flashpoint storyline in the comics, where Flash travels back in time to save his mother, only to create an alternate timeline. The same happens in the movie, and the underlying story of Barry Allen trying to find his place as a superhero while maintaining his family gives the film some much-needed weight. Brandon Zachary of CBR writes, "The Flash is a surprisingly emotional film, exploring concepts like the inevitability of mortality even in a world of limitless potential. The consistent undercurrent of grief and loss keeps the stakes high. It's these moments that apparently help the movie stand up on its own 2 feet, even during more questionable moments. David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter suggests The Flash isn't perfect. Still, that core concept helps carry it through. According to one critic, if The Flash ultimately proves uneven, its wobbly climactic showdown far less interesting than the more character-driven build-up. The story's core of a young man struggling to reconcile with the loss of his mother carries it through. Interestingly, a film billed as the second coming of superhero movies has more to offer when it's focused more on characters than spectacle, and the audience's enjoyment of such grander moments may vary. Without getting into spoilers, The Flash seemingly does a lot. There's time travel, alternate timelines, and different versions of the same superheroes, including some surprising cameos. The movie wants to have its cake and eat it too, but many critics think that the film stumbles more often than it flies.
There might not be a future.
In Ross Bunyem's review for Collider, there's praise for certain story elements, but ultimately, this is a film that's unable to stand on its own 2 feet. The critic concluded, "Unfortunately, this isn't a story that holds together on a narrative level. Cameos and fan service are fine to have, but the story has to be there to back them up, and it's not quite there with The Flash." There's little doubt certain cameos may be enough to make general audiences forgive some of the movie's poor moments, but critics are seeing right through them, especially as the film drags on. Like so many big action movies before it, The Flash ends with a CGI-laden final battle that critics are already panning. One negative take came from Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian, who wrote, "Despite some diverting touches, Miller's smirking, gurning, mugging doppelganger performance is a trial, and in any case gets lost in the inevitable third-act CGI battle apocalypse, which is weightlessly free of jeopardy and, like the rest of the film, does not exactly go by in a flash." There's a wide range of opinions, with some thinking the film's one of the best superhero flicks of the 21st century, while others view it as another DC letdown. And coming out on the heels of the nearly universally acclaimed Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse may not help matters either. People can make up their own minds when The Flash comes out on June 16th.